All rights to the characters and storyline of Fruits Basket belong solely to its creators and copyright holders. This text is fan-created interpretation and does not claim any ownership or official affiliation with creators or distributors of Fruits Basket. All references to the characters and their development are based on the original work and are intended solely for entertainment and discussion purposes. Warning: this text contains discussion and depictions of eating disorders which may be triggering for some readers. Please proceed with caution and prioritize your mental health. If you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder, help is available. Reach out to the National Eating Disorder Association helpline at 1-800-931-2237 or visit their website at www.nationaleatingdisorder.org for support and resources. Puppet Strings, Chapter 10. The evening at the Soma estate was alive with the joyous clamor of Akito's birthday. The house was beautifully decorated with strings of paper lanterns and shimmering streamers that caught the warm glow of the lights. The smell of delicious food filled the air, mingling with the sounds of laughter, clinking glasses, and the upbeat melodies of traditional music. Tohru and Kyo arrived together, their interests marked by a mixture of anticipation and nerves. Tohru had made noticeable progress, her steps more confident than before, though she still carried the weight of her struggle. Kyo, ever supportive, walked proudly beside her, his heart swelling with admiration of her resilience. The night unfolded with a series of engaging conversation and cheerful interactions. Family members, old friends, and new acquaintances gathered around, exchanging pleasantries and sharing in the festive spirit. Tohru mingled with the crowd, her presence both reassuring and poignant. The family members welcomed her warmly, but the atmosphere was not without its challenges. As the evening progressed, Kyo noticed a subtle shift in Tohru's demeanor. She seemed to be participating in conversations, but appeared somewhat distant, her laughter not quite reaching her eyes, her gaze often drifted around the room, her smile faltering occasionally. Kyo's concern grew as he watched her. At one point, Tohru excused herself from the conversation and moved to the edge of the room. Kyo, worried about her well-being, approached her. "Hey, Tohru," he said softly, "do you want to step outside for a bit? Get some fresh air?" Tohru looked up at him, her expression a mix of confusion and apprehension. After a brief moment, she nodded. "Sure, Kyo." They stepped out into the crisp evening air, which was a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the indoors. The garden was quiet, illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns hanging from the trees. Kyo led her to a secluded bench, and they sat together in silence for a moment, taking in the peaceful surroundings. Kyo turned to her, his voice gentle. "So, how are you feeling? Is everything okay?" Tohru hesitated, her eyes downcast. She seemed to be searching for the right words, but then she closed her mouth and shook her head. Kyo reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You can talk to me about anything, you know." Tohru took a deep breath, her gaze lifting to meet his. With a determined look, she stood up and headed back towards the house. Kyo followed her, his concern growing. They re-entered the bustling party, and Kyo was puzzled when Tohru led them to the snack table. He watched as she surveyed the array of treats, her expression a mixture of anxiety and resolve. "What's going on?" Kyo asked, confusion evident in his voice. "Do you want something?" Tohru glanced at him and then nodded. "Yes, I'd like a small bag of chips." Kyo's face brightened with pride. "Of course!" He grabbed a small bag of chips and handed it to her, his heart swelling with a mix of hope and anxiety. They returned to the main area where the family continued their conversation. Kyo kept a careful eye on Tohru, watching her every move. He could see her trembling slightly as she held the bag of chips. Her hands shook as she opened the bag, and Kyo could sense the immense internal struggle she was facing. Tohru took a chip out and held it in her trembling hands. She stared at it as if it were a symbol of all her fears and doubts. Her internal battle was visible, and Kyo's heart ached seeing her so distressed. Yet, she mustered the courage to place the chip in her mouth. Her expression was one of intense concentration and vulnerability as she chewed and swallowed. Kyo's eyes never left her. He was so emotionally invested in the moment that he didn't notice Haru calling his name from across the room. When Kyo finally looked up, he saw Haru's concerned face. "What's wrong, Kyo?" Haru asked, his tone laced with worry. Kyo managed to smile, though his eyes were misty with emotion. "I'm fine, Haru. Just really happy." Tohru finished the bag of chips and set it on the floor. She excused herself to get some water, her movements weary but purposeful. Kyo, driven by curiosity and concern, picked up the empty chip bag. His eyes widened as he saw that the bag was completely empty. The sight of it, representing a significant step in Tohru's recovery, brought tears to his eyes. As he stood there, lost in his thoughts, Tohru returned with a glass of water. She noticed the tears in Kyo's eyes and immediately felt a pang of worry. "Kyo, are you okay?" Without hesitation, Kyo pulled her into a tight embrace. The intensity of his hug spoke volumes, conveying his pride, relief, and love. Tohru's glass of water slipped from her hand and fell to the floor, but neither of them cared. Kyo's voice was choked with emotion as he whispered, "I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing." Tohru felt herself wavering as she heard his heartfelt words. The sheer depth of his pride and love was overwhelming, and she was moved to tears. In that moment, she resolved to continue fighting for her recovery, driven by the knowledge that Kyo's support was unwavering and that he believed in her. The Soma family, watching from a distance, sensed the importance of the moment. They saw Kyo and Tohru's profound connection and the significance of their exchange. While they didn't fully understand the details, they could tell that this was a pivotal moment for the couple. As Kyo held Tohru, their embrace was a testament to their shared strength and commitment. The surrounding noise of the party seemed distant, overshadowed by the powerful bond between them. Kyo whispered reassurance and loving words, his focus solely on comforting Tohru. The night continued around them, but for Kyo and Tohru, it was a moment of triumph and tenderness. The family, though unsure of the specifics, respected the significance of the encounter. They returned to their festivities with a quiet understanding, leaving Kyo and Tohru alone in their intimate moment. Hi, my name is Angel and I hope you liked this. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. If you want to hear more, check out my website, or if you want my books in an easier to read format, check out my Wattpad. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.